The Nation of Islam, or NOA, has a unique origin story. It centers on a figure named Yakub. This story is crucial to NOI teachings. It explains the existence of the white race and the historical oppression of black people. This narrative is controversial and has drawn criticism from various groups, including scholars, religious leaders, and civil rights advocates. But, it remains a powerful symbol for many NOI followers. It represents their struggle for justice and equality. Understanding the story of Yakub is essential. It helps us understand the NOI's worldview and sheds light on their social and political stances. It is a story deeply intertwined with themes of race, power, and creation. This story continues to shape the NOI's identity and message. It influences their perception of history and their vision for the future. It remains a topic of debate and discussion. The story of Yakub first appeared in the teachings of Wallace Fard Muhammad. He founded the NOI in the 1930s. Fard introduced Yakub as a figure of scientific knowledge. Elijah Muhammad further developed this narrative. He led the NOI after Fard's disappearance. In his book, Message to the Black Man in America, he dedicated a chapter to Yakub. It was titled The Making of Devil. This chapter became a central text for NOI followers. According to Elijah Muhammad, Yakub was a black scientist. He lived 6,600 years ago on the island of Patmos. Yakub led a group of dissidents who rebelled against the righteous teachings of the time. Driven by ambition, Yakub devised a plan. He used selective breeding to create a new race. This race would be pale-skinned and possess a wicked nature. Yakub's plan, as described by Elijah Muhammad, was meticulous and cruel. It involved separating lighter-skinned people from darker-skinned ones. Over generations, he bred out the original black traits. This process, according to the NOI narrative, resulted in the birth of the white race. Yakub instilled in them a nature prone to wickedness, greed, and violence. These traits, they believe, explain the historical oppression faced by black people at the hands of whites. The story also includes Jews within this narrative. It claims they descended from Yakub's lineage. This inclusion has been particularly controversial and has fueled accusations of anti-Semitism against the NOI. The NOI views this story as the origin of racial inequality. They see it as the root of white supremacy and global injustice. This narrative shapes their understanding of power dynamics and their call for black empowerment. Section 4. A storm of criticism, racism, anti-Semitism, and the NOI's image. The story of Yakub has drawn intense criticism from various quarters. Critics denounce it as racist and ahistorical. They argue that it promotes hatred and division by demonizing an entire race based on a fabricated origin story. Jewish groups have condemned the inclusion of Jews in this narrative as blatant anti-Semitism. They argue that it perpetuates harmful stereotypes and reinforces dangerous conspiracy theories. These criticisms have significantly impacted the NOI's public image. They have been labeled a hate group by organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center. This label has hindered their efforts to engage in mainstream political and social discourse. Despite the controversy, the NOI maintains that their teachings are not intended to incite hatred. They argue that the story of Yakub, while symbolic, highlights the historical injustices faced by black people. Section 5. The enduring legacy of Yakub within the NOI. The story of Yakub continues to hold deep significance for many NOI followers. They view it as a powerful allegory that explains the historical oppression and systemic racism they face. For them, the story is not about literal scientific accuracy. It's about understanding the power dynamics that have shaped the world. It's about recognizing the roots of white supremacy and its impact on black communities. The narrative serves as a call to action. It emphasizes the need for black self-reliance, self-determination, and separation from a system they believe is inherently designed to oppress them. The story, despite its controversial nature, continues to be a source of unity and purpose for many within the NOI. It fuels their desire for liberation and informs their vision for a more just future. Section 6. Black Empowerment and Self-Determination Beyond the Controversy. The story of Yakub, while central to NOI teachings, represents a broader theme within the organization: the pursuit of black empowerment and self-determination. The NOI advocates for black economic independence, self-sufficiency, and a strong sense of community. They believe that black people must control their own institutions, businesses, and destinies to overcome historical disadvantages. They promote education, entrepreneurship, and spiritual growth as pathways to liberation. Their message resonates with those who feel marginalized by systemic racism and seek a vision of self-reliance. While the story of Yakub remains a point of contention, the NOI's focus on black empowerment and self-determination continues to attract followers who seek agency and equality within a system they perceive as unjust.